Hello, this is Big Ideas with BFO, and I am your host. Yeah, I'm Steve. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate you tuning in. Is it really tuning in when you, I don't know how this all goes. The words are all changing, confuses me. Today, let's talk about smallish businesses. Because nobody wants to think, I'm a really small business. But a lot of us are. You can figure out what the definition of a small business means to you. It doesn't matter. What I'm here to share is that you've got a smaller website and you've got a location-based business. There are some things that you could and should do to make sure that your business appears online when people are searching. Now, by no means am I saying this is all you should do. My expertise lends itself to helping you optimize your website for your audience, be that a local audience, national audience, or worldwide audience. So for those of you that have a physical address, and maybe you have one location, maybe you have 43 or 430 locations, some of this stuff doesn't change between them. First things first, you need high quality location pages. If you're in Decatur, Illinois, you need a location page for Decatur. If you're in a neighborhood in Chicago, you may need a very specific page because it talks differently. If you're in Dallas, are you in Grapevine? Are you in Dallas? What are you going to use when you're there? Are you going to generally talk about the Metroplex area? So you have a lot of options to think about. Each of your location pages should speak to where it is. If it's in Grapevine, Texas, even though it's right outside of Dallas, you want to use Grapevine unless you happen to be the only person in the Dallas area. Then you want to use Dallas and Grapevine. And you might even leverage Fort Worth in there because if I know Dallas, people are willing to drive for the services or products that they need. Location pages should have unique content about your store, the retail location. This is the hard part. If you've got 25 locations that all do the same thing, how do you differentiate them? Well, you don't have to too much, but you should a little bit. And a lot of the times, the name, address, and phone number is enough. But even just a brief description in there about your product, services, and the general area and customers is going to go a long way toward differentiating that location. So that when the search engines hit that page, this is the one that's in Antioch, Illinois, or in Columbus, Ohio, whatever the case may be. You want to be the Germantown tire location. So think about that way. The page is really important. Make sure it's optimized, make sure the tags are there, make sure you have schema on that page, each and every one of them. Make sure the schema is working, it's functional, it passes schema tests. All right, cool. Got your landing pages. All right, up a level or 2 or 3. What does your navigation look like? Now listen, if you're a solopreneur and you've got a retail location that's in Denver, Colorado, list the neighborhood, list your products, your services. That's kind of your whole website. Do that. Optimize your website, the entire thing around it. But if it's location pages, you've got 10 locations in and around Denver and maybe in Boulder, and maybe you've got something a little outside of there. You've got to speak differently to those locations so when the search engines show up, it comes down. So think about your navigation. Think about where people are showing up first, what you're telling the search engines. Is it Chicago? And then what does it break down to there? And suburbs, Chicago area, how do you want the navigation to work? Now, is Chicago a page? And is there content that talks about your 10 locations in Chicago? You probably want to do that. List out your locations with some unique content about Chicago and surrounding suburbs, or Chicagoland. Or if you're in Dallas and you want to talk about the Metroplex, Dallas, Fort Worth, right? Frisco. Put that stuff in. Use the general name, and then use specific city names and drill down. Make sure those pages are tagged. Make a crawl path for the search engines. Make sure that everything's working right. Make sure it's in your XML sitemap, that you've got those location pages, that you've got that hierarchy built in, and that Google can step down. One of the worst things you can do is put 4 locations on the same page. I'm talking about at the bottom. If I've got locations surrounding Chicago and I've got Morton Grove and Skokie and Lincolnwood and Lake Forest, for instance, are all suburbs around the city here. I don't want to put all 4 of those on the same final landing page. I want 4 unique pages, one for each of those, because I want those local searches. I want somebody in that 5 to 7 mile radius saying, oh, he's right there in Morton Grove, or she's right over there in Lake Forest. That's what I want to happen. So those are the big keys on your website. And now I'm going to take you away from your website a little bit. Google My Business and other call them NAP providers or home providers. Get out and submit your business information to one of these large data distributors. Smallish does this. They've got a local product that's pretty darn cool where you can put your business information in, you can distribute it to multiple locations and then manage it. This saves you from going to 6 different places to publish your information. Now, Google My Business, you generally have to do on your own, but claim those locations, get your information up there, get videos up there, get categories up there, take that same information, put it into Smallish, distribute that information for all of your locations. This is going to create some truth for you out on the internet that all points back to your website and those location pages. It's those little truths or citations that Google is going to pick up and say, hey, that's a real business. Hey. So each of these little votes makes you more and more of a real business. All right. Final point here is going to say to use something brand new at Google, and I'm going to talk advertising for a minute. Yes, we're switching gears, but think about leveraging Google's Performance Max campaigns for your locations. What you have the opportunity to do and see, target those locations, and then over time, as you collect enough data, you can start to see the people who visit your locations from your campaigns. So if you're spending money on clicks, you're spending a couple $1,000s a month. We typically recommend for any local business to start with a budget of about $4,000 a month. And get out there and spread the word for yourself, and then let PMax work its magic. Because this is Google's AI-driven search campaign. It will learn, it will grow, it will use the Google tools, ideally to your advantage. Can you still tweak the campaigns? Absolutely. Do you want to let PMax learn and grow for 60 to 90 days? So make your investment and then start seeing the results over time. Get your location pages up to snuff. We'll start to see additional customers in your stores. This has been Big Ideas with BFO. I'll continue to be your host. Until next time, thanks for stopping by.